variation Tully came up with, where he takes the ball, places it in his hand, then shows you underneath the cup, yet it still appears underneath the cup. Now we're all set. 3 cups, 3 balls. We did the center ball, place it underneath the center cup. To do side balls, put them in Teller's pockets, they still appear underneath the center cup. Here's a little bit of juggling, and then underneath the center ball, we have a giant ball, 1 more on either side, and of course for the finish, it's an American baseball. Now after we had done the American cups and balls for a while, one kind of zoom in and do a Penn and Teller cups and balls, which involves breaking a few rules of magic. Now the first rule of magic is you never do the same trick twice. So we're going to do the same trick twice. Second rule of magic is you never tell an audience how a trick is being done. So we're going to tell you exactly how the trick is being done. The third rule of magic is you never let the audience see your secret preparation. They must not know what is hidden in which pocket. And the fourth rule of magic is unwritten, but we think any magician in the world would agree with us in a second, that you never ever do the cups and balls with clear plastic cups. So here is the Penn and Teller version of the cups and balls. We take the first ball, pretend to place it in our hand, have already stuck underneath the first cup. Take the second ball, simultaneously secrete it beneath the cup, put it place in our hand and show it. Take the third and final ball, pretend to place it in our hand, pretend to show it in the cup, put place it in the cup, and then secretly secrete and reveal it. Now we're all set for second half, 2 cups, all loaded, 3 balls on top, center ball, the center cup. Each of the side balls, we put them away, we don't need any more, we have 3 duplicates in the center cup. These 3 balls where we get, this is not juggling, this is called misdirection, where look at tells us the final ball under, 1 more on either side, and of course for our finish, it's an American baseball!
Good evening, gentlemen. Very good. How are you?
Very well, thank you.
I guess the first question that most people might have on their minds, Teller, are you going to speak tonight?
Fuck yeah.
So what is the origin of being the silent partner?
When I was about 18 or 19, and in a very pretentious frame of mind, I thought it would be interesting to get rid of magic pattern, because in my previous experience, all the magicians ever talked about was they would say, you know, so here I'm holding a piece of rope, which is something that is pretty obvious. And I thought it would be very interesting as an experiment to see if I could lie without speaking, because that's what a magician essentially does, is he lies, but if you don't speak, it makes it a little more interesting. It makes it so that the audience basically has to fool themselves, right? They look at what's there, they put the picture together, and they tell themselves the lie. I thought that was very interesting. And when I met Penn, when I was in college, I found that I tried doing that at frat parties. You know, you'd think that would just get me killed. But it sort of had the opposite effect. I think either they felt terrible pity for me, or they just thought it was such a strange thing to do that they kind of began to pay attention. I would always do nerve-wracking things like swallowing razor blades. And then when I met Penn, I had been working silent for a good 10 years, and Penn had been working talking for a long time, and it just seemed like the natural combination.
So even at 18, 19, you had a disdain for the convention, some of the conventions of magic, even as you were gravitating towards it as a career.
Was that a question?
Well, I'm wondering, Penn, if you also started in magic, loving the art form, but being upset about the way people were watching it, the way people were performing it.
I have never liked magic. Not only have I've certainly grown, especially in the past maybe 10, 15 years, to have a certain kind of affection for certain kinds of magic. But overall, the basic idea of it never grabbed my heart.
and really offended me deeply on an artistic and moral level. There's no joke to any of this. It's absolutely true. There was a local band, your greatest local band, the Residents. Were very good friends of mine. In the 70s, Gary Panter put out a thing called the Rostock Manifesto. And the Rostock Manifesto had a whole list of things that artists should have. And one of them was, if you don't like supermarket music, for Christ's sake, start making supermarket music. And I've always been so confused by bands like Guns N' Roses, who seem to love the Rolling Stones and go out and do the Rolling Stones. I loved the Velvet Underground. I loved Frank Zappa. I loved Sun Ra. And we had those guys. And they were certainly better than I would ever be. So I wasn't going to go into music where I love stuff. But in Magic, there was nobody that I liked. Everybody was just pure, unadulterated suck. And I thought to myself, you know, if I want to go into show business, if I have to compete with Bob Dylan, I'm going to lose. If I have to compete with Doug Henning, I got a chance. I was very offended by the idea, you know, I was a huge fan of Lenny Bruce, as I said, the Velvet Underground, and it seemed like what you were supposed to do in art was try to tell more and more and more of the truth. And Magic was people that were celebrating the idea of lying. I then met Amazing Randy, I then met Teller. And Teller had this idea, which at the time was crazy, which was that magic was essentially an intellectual art form. Now, magic was just a greasy guy who talks to a lot of birds, torturing women in front of Mylar to bad, small dick white boy rip-off Motown music. That's what it was. But Teller said it was essentially intellectual, because you were able to, at one time, keep two contrary things in your head while you were watching it. And that was fascinating. And I also began to realize that you could see lying when people knew you were lying as a way to explore the truth. So I'm only interested in magic when I meet Teller. Up until the instant I meet Teller, it never crosses my mind to do magic. And I have to say that if you're not talking about the kind of magic we do, I still have no interest. I have no interest in some dipshit coming out and saying, here's the dream I had last night. And then there's an underpaid woman thrown into plywood.
I mean, I remember when, I remember 40 years ago when, or okay, maybe 35 years ago when you guys started showing up on Letterman and SNL, and there was a lot, you caused a lot of controversy within the magic community back then. A lot of people writing about how you guys were showing too much. But in addition to the tension that magic presents of lying while someone's watching, you once said that if a trick had a simple and boring solution, you wouldn't show it. But if it has a really cool solution, you want to show it. Sort of like the cups and balls. There's an interesting new tension you've brought to the trick by doing that. Is that something you guys take as a creative jumping off point every time you're looking at a trick? I recognize it's a very convoluted question.
Not every time, but you're certainly right. Even if you look at the way a normal magician does the cups and balls, if he did that with clear plastic cups, you'd be bored silly. We wrote the clear routine first, and then wrote the other routine backwards. So we wrote the interesting explanation first, and then we wrote the thing that we were supposedly exposing. So the idea of how intricate and exciting it must be to be on the other side of the curtain and see how the world works from backstage is a very interesting idea. We've used, that's when we do sort of exposure type of things, that's always been the idea that we're working from.
There's also it's in service of a bigger lie, really, because once you've seen us do something as intricate as the cups and balls, and then we do a trick that we will not explain, you automatically think that the way we're doing the next trick is as complicated as the one we showed you how to do. Now, the truth of the matter is, the ones that are complicated and beautiful we show. As a matter of fact, one of the rules of thumb in magic is if you love the method, if you love how it's done, if the way it's done is beautiful, you can't do it that way. Because people are trying to find something beautiful, and they'll look in that direction. One of the biggest secrets in magic is that the real methods that you don't hear about have to be incredibly ugly. They have to be ugly, 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 and give you no satisfaction knowing them. They have to be the kind of answer that if you're watching the trick and go to the person next to you, if you go, there's a 45-degree angle mirror under the table, that's kind of exciting and interesting. If you go, well, the big guy wasn't completely telling the truth when he said that thing, and his left hand, he's got a piece of gaffer's tape that's going to pick up that little piece, there's a ball bearing that's underneath it, there's a small part of the thing over there that's radio controlled, and then there's, the big guy actually didn't have that in his left hand to begin with. He actually got if you're saying that during a show, you're going to stay mystified. And by the way, I think we need to address this. The magicians hating us thing was mostly a lie.
Really?
We very much didn't want to be seen as standard magicians. We wanted to have different people come see our show. We didn't want families. You know, we didn't want a predominantly audience full of children. We didn't want that. We wanted to be taken, I want to be taken a little more seriously, perhaps, I don't know. And so we didn't want people to talk about us as magicians. We didn't want them to picture that tuxedo thing. So what we did was we spent a lot of time talking about how persecuted we were in the magic community. And probably the most unpleasant, disingenuous, hateful thing we did was there would be a guy who would have a Xerox newsletter back in the 80s that would go out to 500 people. And he would write something about us like, Penn and Teller are the worst thing to happen to magic. We don't like them, they give away secrets. We would then take this thing that he sent out to 500 people. We would give it to David Letterman as his introduction to us. And then he would read to 3 million people that we were persecuted by this guy whose name they never heard, to something that no one ever read. And we would come out and go, yeah, the establishment hates us. We're on fucking NBC! I mean, it was a case of the bully acting like he's persecuted. We were the bullies.
Now, and we also, you know, we were fighting, and I think magicians always still fight, the fact that the attitude of so many magicians is so painful. I mean, it's so much, I can make a card come to the top of the deck, therefore I am godlike. And that's a very repulsive attitude. It really came to the fore right about the Magic Castle time when we were contacted by a magician who incidentally came to our show and took a swing at Penn in the lobby because we had persuaded him that we were terrible people. And he took us out to lunch. And he said, okay, all right, here's my question for you. Whose side are you on anyway? Now, imagine, let's say Glenn Gould asking that question. You know, whose side is the performer on? The performer is on the audience's side. But he had this idea in his head that there was this coven of magicians that was completely separate from the world that were fighting the audience. And it was kind of necessary for us to place something out there that says, really, we're on your side, folks. We respect you, we take your intelligence for granted. We know every single person in this room read a magic book or had a magic kit at one point in your life. You know, we know that you're not benighted savages.
You know, those early appearances on Letterman was one of the first
people's perception of the world around them. I want to find someone to watch this from on stage. We're gonna monkey with someone very specifically here. Yeah, ma'am, do you wear contact lenses? Yes. Yeah, you know. What's and what's your name, please? Aaron. No, Aaron, as you let's go up here on stage. This is Aaron. I'm going to move you right over here. Put you right here between us, Aaron. We're going to mess with you a little bit. Face the audience there. Now, Aaron, as you get up here on stage and the lights are flashing your eyes and stuff. Even though you're sitting, what, third row or something, it's pretty hard to see your seat, isn't it?
Yeah.
But even though you can't see your seat clearly right now, you have a very clear mental image of where your seat is. Right? You can walk right back to your seat easily. You know who's sitting around you. You probably remember what they're wearing. Walk out to the lobby, walk back. And when you close your eyes, you have a very clear image of what's in your head. We're going to monkey with that image a little bit. The reason I asked you about contact lenses is during this bit, we're going to ask you a few times to close your eyes. Okay? Now to make sure you keep your eyes closed, we're going to put our fingertips very lightly on your eyelids when your eyes are closed. Is that going to be too creepy for you? A little creepy. Give it a try. Face the audience. Just try it right now. Close your eyes there. Aaron, straight forward. Is that too creepy? It's certainly creepy, just not too creepy. Aaron, when I say close your eyes, I suggest you do it right away, because we're coming in. And if you don't, it turns into a Three Stooges routine, and you're standing right in the great Curly Howard spot. Okay, Aaron, take this ring here, and just make sure it's a solid ring. There's nothing fancy about it there. Now just take that ring and put it right around my neck, would you please, Aaron? Just put it right around my neck so you know right where it is. Face the audience here, and put your hands up just like this so they touch it. So they touch it just like that. We're going to run our fingers right down your arms here. Be very aware of the one fingertip on each hand, one fingertip on the back of each hand. Now, Aaron, think about the backs of your hands. Tell me who's touching the back of your right hand, and I'm right over here in your left, Aaron, okay? Aaron, now I want you to think about your wrists, think about your hands, think about our fingers, and think about your hands, and then just reach out and hold our wrists. So tell with your right hand, lead with your left. Hold our wrist right there, okay, Aaron? Now, this will be very easy to imagine, okay? Just leave your elbows loose, keep our hands tight, leave your elbows loose, we move around a bit. It'll be very easy to imagine this, Aaron, to be able to hear it, to be able to feel it. You can feel me leaning over, Tell's reaching across and grabbing that ring you put right around my neck. Now, this next thing is impossible, but I still want you to imagine it. I want you to imagine that Teller rips the ring through my neck, which is biologically impossible, and links it onto your arm, which is topologically impossible. So even though it's impossible, I want you to imagine. I want you to imagine that Teller rips the ring through my neck, and links it onto your arm. You feel that, Aaron? Is that solid in there, Aaron? It's a little weirder, Aaron. Face the audience there, Aaron. Close your eyes, Aaron. Close your eyes. One finger on one eye, one finger on the other. Take your right hand, reach across, grab the ring, okay? Then just slide that ring right off your arm there. I don't want to let go of you for even a moment, Aaron. Now bring that ring above your left arm and tap it a couple times, okay? You can feel the ring. You can feel it tapping against your arm. You have a very clear idea of the ring and where it is in your arm, don't you? Now raise the ring a few inches above your arm there, Aaron. Now just a moment, I'm going to count to 3. Right after I count to 3, right on the next beat after 3, I want you to let go of that ring completely. Let it fall completely. But it's going to feel a little weird, Aaron. You can expect the ring to hit this arm, but it won't. Instead, Aaron, imagine this. The bottom of the ring will open up, it'll suck this arm in, and then it'll heal up. When you drop that ring from that hand after I count to 3, it's going to link on this arm without me letting go of this wrist. And if you people can watch this from inside Aaron's head, this may be the biggest miracle you experience. And 1, 2, 3, drop. Feel that, Aaron? Open your eyes, Aaron. Open your eyes. Is that solid, Aaron? Get a sense of it. Can you get a sense of that ring? Now hold the ring with your right hand, let it go with your left. And use your left hand to cover your own eyes. Replace our fingers with your hand. Beautiful. You've made a solid ring here, haven't you, Aaron? From your face to your hand, to your wrist, to your arm, to your elbow, to your arm, to your arm, to your neck, to your face. Totally unbroken ring. There's no way we can link anything onto this arm as long as this hand is right against your face. Imagine this, Aaron. 1, 2, 3. Feel that, Aaron? Open your eyes.
Tricks, but also, do you find it tough to fool people kind of going forward?
No.
Thank you. Hello, Penn. I love a lot of your stories from doing like Ringling Brothers and some of the Carney stories. I would love to hear Teller tell a Carney story.
I'm glad of that.
Like something, you know.
Do I know any Carney stories, Ben?
We know the story of how you get the suspension chairs at the Minnesota State Fair. That's a carnival story. It tells a lot about your personality. Take it away.
It was very helpful, actually. In the early part of our career, we wanted to do a famous suspension. That's a thing where somebody is apparently sitting in space while you take their supports away. And it was done with two folding chairs. And we looked all over to try to find these folding chairs in America and found that the only place you could get them was British parks. And the fellow who designed the effect said, just steal it from a local park. He was a Brit. Brits cheat. And so we happened to be at the Minnesota State Fair, and we were at the Old People's Pavilion, and I looked out and I said, Penn, there's like 200 of these chairs. These are exactly what we need. So we dutifully went to the head of the State Fair, and we said, to the facilities person at the State Fair, and said, we would love to buy a couple of those chairs. You know, it doesn't matter what the price is. I'm sorry, I can't sell them to you. But I should tell you that at the end of this fair, we're going to throw them all away. So here's a drive-on pass for your car, and we'll just leave it at that. And so we drove our car on, and we stole 3 chairs with full tacit permission, and those are the ones that we used for years. That's the best I can do for a Carney story.
If you're going to steal something, keep in mind the important phrase, are these them? We just pulled up with the chairs, and there was a guy looking around and went, are these them? The guy said, yeah, we load them in the truck and more.
Hi, I'm Will.
This is a little more of a groove that I gotta go in and do this. You've seen a lot of magic tricks, seen a lot of illusions. We believe we're the only act working that does exclusively God-given miracles. Teller was blessed with the ability to mend polyester with his mind. Now you're all about to have the Damascus experience. You're all about to witness the burning bush. We need one person to become a disciple right up here on stage. And we are not trying to create an apostate. We need someone who is open to a new religion, someone who is open-minded. We're looking for a child. Is there a child like someone about, yeah. How old are you? 12? We can fool the 12-year-old, right? Come on, get up here, come on. Come on. You're a child. We have here perfectly ordinary polyester, like some of you, embarrassingly enough, have on your own person. And what's your name, please? Ethan, right over here, Ethan. Ethan, why don't you watch this carefully? I'm going to take these scissors, Ethan, and I'm going to tear this polyester asunder. It's sort of 2 pieces of approximately equal size there, Ethan. Take 1 of that, Ethan. Hold it tight. Don't let go of it. Watch the other side of Teller. About the same distance from Teller as I am. Hold that tight. So Teller's right in the middle. About the same distance from Teller as I am. Perfect, Ethan. Ethan, you saw Teller cut the polyester. You saw it in 2 pieces. And now Teller will mend that polyester using only his mind and the secular humanist method of the knot. Without doing any objectivist materialist such as myself would do it, but I want you to watch Teller goes a step further. Teller's going to snip off the bunny ears. Now Ethan, there is still a knot there, making a mockery of all that is held holy in the world. But you watch as Teller's therapeutic touch just melts that knot right away. Let me hear you say hallelujah! Can I get a witness? Ethan, since you are right up here on stage, breathing down the Messiah's word, that seemed to you to be a miracle or magic trick? A miracle or a magic trick? A magic trick. Oh, too bad, we get a public school student. That's good. You got one of the polyester, I got the other, and watch the minute. Steer in his hands. Steer in his hands. Burn him, burn him, burn him. And explain that, you skeptical little freak. What you're watching right now is our newest friend Ethan is having an epiphany right up here on stage. And Ethan has decided to travel the world preaching the good news of the gospel of Teller. But as you travel the world preaching this good news, you will encounter other minds that are skeptically closed like as your own, and they will want proof. You'll be able to give them that proof because you, Ethan, now have the power of the polyester. You know what that means, Ethan? It means you have dominion over all synthetic fabrics. Ethan, walk to the center of the polyester. Walk to the center. Walk to the center of the polyester. Walk to the center. Grab the center there, Ethan. Grab the center. Ethan, you found the center of the polyester. Now, Ethan, you're going to take the scissors, Ethan, and you are going to run with the scissors. Run with the scissors. You have no thing. Knock them back. Sometimes you get like an 8-year-old up here. They run, they trip, they fall. It's cute. Ethan, you found the center of the polyester. You cut the polyester. And now Teller's tying a knot. You now get the highest honor that a lay person can have in the church of Teller. You get to snip off the sacred bunny ears. Snip that off right there, would you please, Ethan? Watch his fingertips, Ethan. That's my meal ticket you're mugging you with there. Now, Ethan, you found the center of the polyester. You cut the polyester, and now there's a knot there. Put your hands in the classic praying position right around the knot. Right around the knot, Ethan. Right around the knot, just here, right there. Hold it right there, Ethan. Let me ask you a question, Ethan. Do you believe in Teller? Yes. Do you believe in Teller? Yes. Do you believe in Teller? Yes. Then let him work through you, Ethan. Someone say amen. Now you say, shut up. Shut up. Shut up. You're tempting Ethan with a sin of pride. Look straight ahead. Step up a little bit closer there, Ethan. Look to the audience, yeah. Put your arms by your side, look straight ahead. We're going to test you, Ethan. Do you feel that synthetic, petroleum-based, high tensile strength fabric going right around your young and not quite fully formed trachea? We're going to test you. And if your faith in Teller is perfect, you will travel the world preaching the gospel of Teller, becoming a man of the synthetic cloth. But if for one moment your faith wavers, God will smite you. Do you believe in Teller? Yes. Do you believe in Teller? Yes. Do you believe in Teller? Then go forth, Ethan, and sing to the Lord. Then sing, Ethan, the patience of the Lord. Let's have him sing with them. Let's have him right here.
Biggest ever.